We are Smart 24 TV and we are dedicated to driving your business. This is Smart Means Business, your morning kickstarter, giving you relevant information.
Very well, and now we're going to be looking out for the business tips and quotes to keep you up, inspired and motivated. And speaking about quotes, look at what we've got for you on this particular day.
Oh, we started off with a business tip. This is saying, make a plan but be flexible. You need a few sets of plans, even if each is only a few pages. A business plan with an accompanying marketing outline are very important blueprints for success. They help you map out the major landmarks of the road ahead. They help you define your success and break the journey into important metrics you can track your progress against.
Yeah, basically you need to have a business plan, but you need to have a flexible mind or flexible, you need to be flexible, you need to be very dynamic amidst your plans, because you might draft that to-do list of yours on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, but what is going to happen? You might lose someone. And if you're not that flexible, you're that kind of person who does not want any change to happen around there, you may realize you're going to miss out on some of the opportunities. For example, you might draw your weekly plan or draw your daily plan, but Honorable Nabanja is coming to your organization and you did not plan for that. Because sometimes we hear he has bumped into a certain hospital when they have not been ready for him, for her, sorry. They just see Honorable has reached, Honorable Nabanja, Prime Minister is already there. What are you going to do? As a Kulida Hospital, as an organization who heads that particular organization, will you remain in your office and like, he didn't make an appointment? Can you do that?
I'll ask her who brought you. You need to make plans. You don't just come. Eh?
No, because that's a public, that's a public, he's, I mean, she is...
that is one of the must.
She's entitled to jump in at any time.
Do you know that thing can create a heart attack for someone working in the hospital? It's just like when you've said it right. The right honorable is coming in. You didn't know, you had nothing. You're completely doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
You're even not at office by that particular time.
And then once she comes in, you panic. You're like, now why did she come? So.
But that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, sometimes, but you, let me say something. If you are always, if you're always under governance or leadership, there are things that should never surprise you. If your boss walks in your meeting, it shouldn't be a surprise at some point, though they are entitled to make an appointment or to communicate earlier, but you should never be surprised or even feel annoyed, because I mean,
your boss.
He or she is entitled to be anywhere, but not Kumutwe. So back to this particular quote, business tip, highlighting that you've had to have your plans ready, but also try to be flexible. Dynamics happen in businesses, whereby you're expecting the milk delivery car or that delivery entity. It could be bread, it could be anything that you get stock on, and that particular day it may rain or there should be a mechanical problem. And what there is in history is that someone is coming to pick up maybe 100 bags on that particular day, but the stock hasn't arrived yet. Durham, are you going to stay in your office? Are you going to stay in that supermarket? Are you going to stay in that shop of yours waiting until the delivery will make its way in the evening? But then you have a customer coming in 1 hour. What should you do? What are you going to do?
It depends on the situation, by the way. It also depends on your day schedule. Sometimes you may have plans for different things that may be important, but however, if they're not important, you can't stay in your shop for the meantime.
The customer is very important. We always say the customer is your boss.
Besides the business tip, let's have a look at that business quote that is going to guide you through the weekend. This one is coming in from Anthony Robbins, who says there is a powerful driving force inside every human being that once unleashed can make any vision, dream or desire a reality. So
well.
basically, this one keeps on reminding us that you need to have, to unleash that small person in you that you feel is small, but is the biggest person you have inside of you. So you need to get out of that comfort zone and take that risk. Or if at all you're calling it a risk, take that risk. It may be the beginning of your new journey. Or it may actually make you.
No, I'm trying to bring it out in my language. We have, we say isenkati mutima.
But you're skeptic about a decision. You feel like you can't do when you're scared.
No, okay, that person inside you, okay, the real you, because this is just, you know, the body. But then
the soul that you speak to once you're alone. Yes, everyone has that.
You want to steal something. Okay, you've got two thoughts.
Don't.
Yes, and then...
Do. If you do,
so how do you call that? How do you call that?
In the religious dialect, they call it
that Holy Spirit. No, in religious ways they say, okay, muntu womunda or Holy Spirit.
No, Holy Spirit, Mulala. Holy Spirit is the Almighty. Kati omuntu womunda gwe moyo goyina munda, your soul. So that is
or your Holy Spirit. When you go to religiously,
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit. If you're going to steal, you want to steal my
Holy Spirit. But
okay, speaking about that, how do you call it in your local language? That owomo. For example, we call that isenkati mutima. You feel something is telling you, and
moyo mutukirivu. And in my Holy Spirit, in my dialect, Holy Spirit, moyo mutukirivu. That is in Luganda. Kati omuntu womunda, that inner you. Yo omuntu womunda.
You say omuntu womunda.
Omuntu womunda ali omunda akugamba nti kakati sebo. Wow.
So we're talking about omuntu womunda, that spirit you have got. Sometimes you want to do something, sometimes you want to start up something, but you are scared. Not until you get stronger inside you and you make that inner you very stronger to make that particular decision, you're bound to stay the same until you react on that senkati mutima, on that muntu womunda.
It will become, exactly. So you just need to get out of your comfort zone. Well, besides that, we are heading into the other report and still on discussing coffee exportation in the country. What do we have, Rita, in our next report?
Now we speak about coffee value chain. Earlier on, we had to speak about Uganda-China relations in regards to collaborations to bring out our coffee production. Now we dive into the coffee value chain. Private sector and stakeholders engage to improve on the industry. Now Siatini Uganda, together with Uganda Coffee Development Authority, UCDA, held a multi-stakeholder dialogue on unlocking the potential of the coffee value chain. The theme that was highlighted, fair for all, improving the coffee value chain in Uganda. Take a look at this. We return with you to discuss on it.
Different stakeholders that include coffee farmers and traders came together to see how they can strengthen small-scale farmers and address injustices the industry faces. Brenda Katarikawe, a senior export marketing executive at the Uganda Export Promotion Board, says that one of the key things they are looking at as a channel to promote Uganda's value-added coffee in the African market, and with the fact that there is the African Continental Free Trade Area, it will be an opportunity for Ugandan coffee to get market on the continent.
One of the areas as Export Promotion Board that we would like to see grow is export of value-added products. And like I mentioned, we are looking at promoting Uganda's value-added coffee in the Africa market. And with the opening of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we are looking at this as a big opportunity for Uganda coffee to get into the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And in terms of requirements, we have the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, which specifically looks at the quality of manufactured or processed products out of Uganda. And they'll be able to advise properly in terms of what companies can prepare themselves as they package and process good coffee from Uganda. So in terms of whether the coffee market is there in Africa, yes, we have a lot of market in Africa, and all we have to do is aggressively promote our product in the African market.
Daudi Sentongo from the Uganda National Farmers Federation revealed that they agree with Uganda's exit from the International Coffee Agreement since the agreement failed to create investments, and also its policies haven't brought on board partnerships to support Uganda's coffee brand.
The Federation's position on our exit from the International Coffee Agreement is that we support the position of government on this, and we believe that our exit was long overdue in a way that we have really assessed the importance of this agreement and we don't see any. It has failed on its mandate to generate investment into our coffee, create new jobs, and also bring on board partnerships that are going to benefit the Ugandan brand, Ugandan coffee. So, as the Farmers Federation, we stand with government on this, and we believe that the strategy that UCD is putting in place is going to, in the long run, promote the Ugandan coffee brand. What we have realized is that Ugandan coffee is going to the market, but it's not being identified as Ugandan coffee. And one way of making sure that we develop a strong brand is by making sure that we remove the barriers that are there on the markets that are affecting how the Ugandan coffee is being perceived on the world market. So for us, we believe that our exit was long overdue, and what the benefits which the ECO was offering can be outsourced elsewhere. The agreement or the certificate of origin can really be obtained from other sources. But also our coffee will continue to go out in the market. So for what we want to put out to Ugandan farmers, they should not get worried. Our coffee will continue to go to whichever market it has been going despite our exit. And the traders have nothing to worry about because we are party to other agreements that allow our coffee to still go out to the European market, to the American market, and we want to explore the African market, which has demonstrated a lot of potential to offset our coffee. So, looking at the options that are available to us, we do not need the agreement.
Ewantu Muhimbiswe, Chairman Mubende NGO Forum, revealed that the reason as to why there is limited market for coffee in the country is because the Ugandans have less information about coffee that is on the market.
There is a saying which may be well known to you. The colonialists made us to produce things we would not consume and consume things we do not produce. So coffee was one item that was introduced to us, but it was for export because they had a market for it and they knew how to process it. So since then, the successive governments have not put in an effort to encourage Ugandans to take coffee, for not only for the benefit that it gives to them health-wise, but also to increase the market for the coffee that they produce. So it is not strange to go into a household and you find that for the whole year they have not taken any coffee, they have been taking tea. It is not disheartening to go to a hotel like this one and you find there is no coffee on the menu, and even when they give it to you, it is not indicated which brand you have taken. So Ugandans are not taking coffee because they don't want it, but they don't have the right information why they should take coffee. And they even don't have the right type of coffee which they should take.
However, coffee growers and traders are experiencing a number of challenges, which Jen Nabukwasi, a coffee farmer from Mbale, explains.
In Mbale, the farmers are facing a lot of challenges from the time of production up to the time of marketing. When you look at the production level, when you look at our landscape in Mbale and in the Bugisu region, farmers have land fragmentation, which affects the production of coffee. Another challenge the farmers are facing in the Bugisu region is that the inputs which the dealers are selling on the market, sometimes they are fake. We have fake fertilizers, we have fake seeds, And also, you'll find that sometimes what the government is also supplying under operational ration, you find that also the seeds are not of good quality. So you find that when you realize that the government has supplied a lot of coffee seedlings, but when you look at the output, it is really very little. Another challenge farmers are having in the Bugisu region is that the middlemen. When you look at the quality of coffee, the middlemen have moved up to the villages, up to the household level, and they are, what the farmers are doing are selling low coffee. And in fact, the farmers are being cheated because they are given at a lower price. So the middlemen have really exploited the farmers in that you find that the middleman is getting more money from the coffee production compared to the real farmer.
The dialogue was aimed at improving the coffee value chains in the country, as Brenda Kankunda, the trade and policy analyst at Siatini, Uganda, explains.
This project was mainly influenced by the fact that there are several challenges along the coffee value chain. Yet we say coffee is one of our commodities that we are looking at. When you look at, for instance, the exports, coffee is one of the leading exports that we have as a country. So it is important that we prioritize the conversation around coffee and we address the challenges that exist along the coffee value chain. But what majorly triggered this discussion is the fact that we realize that several challenges that exist, looking at liberalization, looking at the unfair prices in the market, looking at the low consumption levels, which is majorly because of limited awareness on maybe some of the benefits that come with taking coffee, and also the revenue that could be created, and the very many opportunities that surround consumption of coffee. So those several challenges triggered this discussion, and we realize that it is a timely discussion, especially now that Uganda has withdrawn from the International Coffee Organization. There's a lot of information that needs to be shared, especially with the key players, the farmers themselves, for them to understand that much as UCDS says this is a good decision, for them to know that, okay, there are alternatives. We are not losing the market. There is a market that is available that we can still penetrate and be able to benefit or generate revenues from the coffee sector.
Uganda exported a record 6.08 million coffee bags in the financial year 2020 to 2021, the highest total for 12 months in 30 years. Exports for financial year 2020 to 2021 were also worth $559 million compared to 5.11 million bags worth $496 million in financial year 2019 to 2020. Recently, Uganda withdrew from the International Coffee Agreement 2007, and Uganda Coffee Development Authority says that the withdrawal was because the country wants some of the articles in the new agreement changed.
Very well, there you realize that stakeholders, partners are requiring government, at least even those definitely directly involved in coffee, to at least provide information to the public. Because if farmers are there just for the sake of growing coffee without any, any goals, because most of the goals around rural farmers, for those who grow coffee or plant coffee, is they want to get that basin out to provide Rita with school fees. They don't mind about how the country or how players or other people are going to create that value addition, to create the cappuccino out. My mother will plant it for the sake of not even looking at for maybe a value adding to it, to sell more, but she is her mind rotates around there. I need school fees. So coffee is going to help me, reach that end. What do you have to say about that?
And when one of the farmers, as well as the chairman from Mubende, says that this was actually input in the minds of the Africans by the colonialists, that coffee is a cash crop. So cash crops are supposed to be exported. So the only better way was, even in school we were taught that coffee is a cash crop, you sell it, it is only grown for sale. Because the definition, if I'm to remember the definition of a cash crop, they say, what is a cash crop? Cash crops are crops
grown for sale.
Exactly. So regardless of whether it is edible or not, we have that mentality from childhood. Colonialists put it in that. Put it already.
You're not going to use it anywhere at home.
You're supposed to
that
sell.
Limits your thinking capacity
of
around
consumption.
Coffee and tea consumption. What else?
So I think even with this value, if we're to look at how we can actually improve on the value chain in the market, let's also check our curriculum, because that is still in the curriculum. A cash crop, you write and say...
Are they still learning about what is a cash crop?
Yes, exactly. You write and say cash crop is a crop grown for food, they mark you wrong. Because it is a cash crop. So it is one of the things that is affecting people's mentality.
That's partly right, Joram. That's partly right. Meanwhile, are you going to grow coffee to eat it at home?
You can grow if we have... But still now.
Okay, we should
it has market
try to tilt a little bit of the word so that my parent can think, okay, I can grow the coffee, I can add value to it, I can pick machinery from anywhere, I can go and consume it, I can add value to it, I can do a lot with it, I can bring out, I can do cappuccino out of it. Because I mean, we tend to give it all away, not forgetting that we can actually make a quality product for even our family. I mean, we also need to design, you know, that heart that comes on that cappuccino cup or that flavor. Don't you need that flavor at home?
At home, and then you feel like, but it seems coffee is good when you're not taking it from home.
It's not good. Cross that. It is good. Maybe it doesn't feel interesting.
It feels interesting when you're in a cafe. Weekends.
That is why we need to change mentality. You see the mentality you're having, Joram, is also costing a lot of people.
There's also another mentality that if you're watching football, regardless of whether you have a decoder with you that shows football, it is good for you to watch football from a chibanda or anywhere, because you know the chibozi that happens in football.
At home, because as a wife, I'm going to provide popcorn. Why are you even laughing at us?
This Friday situation has got me thinking a lot of things, but I don't think watching football
Friday moods are always, I think, I cannot say they're the best, because every day with SMB, it is every best day. But a Friday has got that pinch of a vibe, because we're going to be entering a weekend. But away from that, as we enter into a break, before we go into a break, I want to say that as you're going for the weekend, how do you, or as we also create market for ourselves, how do you market your product? Because you may be someone who is into coffee planting, but you even never embrace coffee workshops. On your district level, on your locality level, there are always workshops that happen. How do you always tap into such opportunities? Because there is one way of saying, Joram, I need information, but you don't go for the information. So how is the information going to find you at some point? Check it out.
And with coffee, we think all Ugandans should also take part in getting rid of the other mentality that coffee is supposed to be only exported. We can still also consume it and have market for it here in our country. And also government should foster ways and which we can also make sure that we have coffee, let's say companies that can process it into ready to take coffee. With that, we take a break, and after it, we do have weather forecast, the weather updates, as well as looking at the SMB Insight.